Caleb, what are we doing? What are we doing? Alright, Lanta, so today we're back once more to talk about the current epidemic in Guild Quest right now, and this week of Guild Quest is by far the biggest example of why this is a problem, and it just makes no sense. So again, in case you are under a rock and you don't know what's currently going on right now in Brave Souls, the biggest problem in the game right now is what is going on with Guild Quest, where every phase of Guild Quest, every week, it just has increased HP. It's not consistent. Some weeks have significantly more HP, some only have small increases, and of course, it's used to merely promote new characters, but this is by far the worst example of Caleb ever doing that, because just to, clarify, right, this is now our 4th Guild Quest difficulty. We are currently at a point where characters are getting too good that they kind of need to make Guild Quest harder, because there's no reason to pull for a 2 out of 5 character. There's no reason to pull for a max transcended character, because at 1 out of 5, they're already getting the max clear time you possibly can get. Obviously, not everyone's doing that, but that's the idea. We've seen that in the past, when the normal difficulty became too easy. 5th anniversary, Byakuya and Ichigo were carrying 4 phases of Guild Quest, 4 weeks of Guild Quest at that point. So with that, they had to make the hard difficulty. When hard got too easy because characters like Yamamoto were nuking every week in 1 second, they introduced the very hard difficulty. And then when characters like Unohana and all the, really good characters we got in the last year or two, 3 years more so, when they made that difficulty easy, we then moved into Nightmare. That was a rarity at one point. It was once a month, then it became a permanent addition. Every time we do get a new difficulty increase, there's always like some backlash because, content is getting harder. But for the most part, we just adapt to it. We accept it. It's just part of the evolving difficulty in Guild Quest, and for the most part, it means extra rewards. If you beat the new difficulty, you get more points, and also you get more orbs. So of course, with that, since they've done it 4 times now, I guess 3 times, you would think the next point, with characters now clearing Nightmare too fast, you would just make a new difficulty, the Ultra difficulty, because that has been data mined for like 2 to 3 years now. Why are we not doing that? Instead, what's happening is Nightmare, the current difficulty, is just getting harder. So no matter what happens, people just aren't going to accept that, because you're just making the current content harder and the rewards aren't getting better. But this, again, is by far the worst example, because we just had the Amelia Aranka Guild Quest, the old Guild Quest schedule just ended, a new one just started. That is why we have Amelia Aranka back-to-back for the most part, and it also just more so means we aren't getting any new Aranka killers for like the next 2 to 3 months. Having a Guild Quest phase back-to-back, it's weird, it's happened in the past, not a big of a deal. But when this Guild Quest was last here, last week, for example, it was the Nightmare Guild Quest Plus, is what I guess we are calling it. So with that, you were able to get upwards to 600 million score. That in of itself makes sense. If you're getting harder difficulty, you get more score, hopefully more rewards. The rewards that we do get for this new increased difficulty isn't anything super crazy. I would love to see more orbs thrown into that. I also at this point would just prefer a new difficulty or a 5th extra level. So even though I don't like how they handled this new difficulty increase for end of month banners, for example, to have the status element plus, at least you are getting more score, right? At the very least. But now this Guild Quest phase is back, and this is why it's so dumb, because currently it's not a Nightmare Guild Quest Plus. Let me actually quickly check the rewards. So as we can see here, it's a normal Guild Quest. The max reward is 520 million. So tell me why this Guild Quest has more HP than last week, where we had more score. That is why this whole system is dumb. Not only is every Guild Quest phase just not having a consistent HP pool that we've seen for the last 6 years in Guild Quest. This Guild Quest phase is technically harder than last week's Guild Quest phase. We aren't getting any extra rewards, and we also are getting less score. So why am I going to bother resetting for a high score? Why am I going to bother doing anything for a personal record? Because just to throw that out there, right, I actually really liked this edition. It made me actually reset more. I'm not gonna lie, it made me summon more, in a way. I liked seeing the high numbers, and I could see just at a quick glance what my Guild Quest phase, was lacking more so. It showed me what characters I needed to summon for, what teams I needed to work on, and with that, I technically summoned more. I wanted to get every Guild Quest phase to at least 50 seconds remaining. Now with all these 600 millions, it's kind of reduced that, and now my scores are kind of all over the place again. But again, hypothetical, for this Guild Quest phase, right? Amelia Aranka is back. I have the same team. Maybe I now want to get a higher score for my personal record. I literally can't even do that. So why am I going to bother resetting this week when I can't even get 600 million points? And again, the difficulty is harder. So for those that are wondering about the, percentage increase here, again, shout out to Mollyprim for this, but essentially from the original Guild Quest phase to the new one that we had last week, the Nightmare Guild Quest Plus, again, is what we are calling it. it went up around 135 million HP. So around a 10% increase in terms of HP that the enemies do have. And then now from the last week guild quest to the current guild quest phase, it's gone up around 20%. Adding around 300 million more HP, and in total, just compared to, the previous time this guild quest was here, when it wasn't boosted or anything, we now have like 450 more million HP added to the boss. Hopefully I'm correct in that. Regardless of the specifics, it's gotten harder, it's harder than last week, and we also don't even get more rewards. So, it's just dumb. Right now, this is by far the worst guild quest it's ever been in. And ultimately, it's very simple. The solution is just to add a new difficulty. Add a 5th extra wave. We have these systems in place to solve the problem that we are currently going through. And this is a first for KLab 2. They've never done something like this when it comes to guild quests. Like I mentioned at the start of the video, anytime we needed a new difficulty, anytime guild quests needed buffing, they did it the normal way. Added a new difficulty with extra rewards. And right now, they are just not doing that. No one likes it. So we're going to keep talking about it on the channel, but I wanted to make a video specifically on this guild quest phase because it's the worst example of it. I guess in some ways though, not like it makes it any better. You don't need to go for the 200% status immunity. So a team like this, for example, last time around, I did have to bring Maid Hime because I needed the immunity on someone like Esnot. I guess we don't need to do that now, but let's see what character we actually can use. But with the HP increase, you definitely are more so encouraged right now more than ever to have those new characters, Nini or Neliel. I fortunately have Nini, but I don't have Neliel. So in this case, who do I want to bring as like a third character? I really don't know. Probably Urudu, I guess, maybe? Like, and ultimately, the problem with Nini and also Noah is that they are no affiliation characters. They don't have any, like, access to the team boosters. And Nelia would make for a third good character here. She would be providing the team boost. She would be providing extra damage to Nini, also while herself doing a lot of damage. I don't have her, so I guess let's just stick with this team. So let's see if we can even beat this. This is a 2-5 Nini, a 1-5 Esnot. So let's start with SA3 into our 1. This is where we're going to be quite slow. Fortunately, again, Esnot's able to do more damage, but like I said in my previous video, it doesn't feel like... It feels like my characters have gotten worse. That's what it kind of feels like. Nini is a character that, for example, would have actually been really good in guild quests, but it doesn't feel like she's as good as she could be because of all this HP buffing, you know? So let's kill with the SA1. Not even. Esnot does kill them. I guess we can sub them here. Then SA2. Keep in mind, if you are struggling on the extra waves, you might want to save a strong attack or sub them for the extra stages. We're not going to do that, though. Where is the boss? Okay, SA2. We're doing really good damage here, but this is, granted, maybe not the best run, but 24 seconds remaining with a 2-5 Nini and a 1-5 Esnot. Maybe, again, not the best run, but still, like, it's the HP, man, it's just too high. It's just way too high. Are we even able to beat it? Hopefully. Again, luckily, we have the attribute advantage here, so we should be fine. Let's just hope we don't take any damage, and I spoke way too soon. Literally, as I spoke, we took damage, so we're not even going to be it. We'll let this run play out, though. So like I said, we're not even going to try and go for fast clear times. In this point, we're just more so struggling to see if we can clear the quest in the first place. Again, I took damage, so not the best run, but we didn't even get close to the 4th boss. It's like, even if I take no damage, am I going to be able to even to beat it? That would be shocking if I can't. Because that's never happened in Brave Souls. I'm not like a massive whale like people would claim I am. You know, I don't summon on every banner. I do skip and save. I spend money here and then, but there's never been a situation where I can't beat a quest. And it would be kind of crazy if this is the first time that can happen. And if I can't beat it, then there must be a problem, right? Surely. Surely. So let's try again. SA3. Into the 2. I will be honest though, in ways I do kind of like the status and plus pause. Just for clarity, this one is the biggest problem with like just the normal freeze pause is that it's way too blinding. I have no idea what I'm looking at right now. At least the status and plus pause were a lot more clearer to see if I was to throw some compliment towards the status and plus pause, you know. So in this case, we're going to sub them. Let's EX then sub them. SA1 upwards. Let's SA2 while the weakening is applied. Hopefully Esnot can kill. There we go, lovely. So it looks like around 30 seconds. Yeah, this HP buff is crazy. And then SA2 finishes 29 seconds. If we take no damage, we should be fine. But if anything, we might need to throw in a character. To be fair, I should have done that. I don't know why I didn't. We need New Year's Renji in the team. We need some type of normal attack damage character. And I guess I would throw in Renji instead of Soifon just for the added protection with the barriers. So we might need to do that. In ways, this might potentially try and kill teams that are using supporters, where you kind of want to bring 3 characters that can deal damage. Maybe that's the plan, but yeah, we're barely going to clear this. Let's use that SA2. I want to use the SA1 now, but I don't know where they're spawning. Top left. Let's dodge. SA1. Free. Yeah, we've thrown Renji, we can beat it, but look at that. How is a team like this not able to clear? Like, even if, again, I didn't have, like, the best attack layout, it should be able to clear. So if I can't clear and you don't have Nini, man, that's going to be a struggle. It's just way too much HP. If this was a new difficulty, it would be more welcoming. But again, right now, we're just having increased difficulty and no increased rewards. So you're just losing out on rewards through this new system, which is, again, like, the biggest problem. And I feel like I should clarify, even though I'm technically open for the idea of a new difficulty, at least I would prefer that better than what we have currently right now in this situation, I also still think it's a bit too soon. Maybe the HP increase is a bit too high. Because even if we did get a new difficulty with an increased HP pool and an increased amount of rewards, the currently existing leads, majority of them, hopefully that's the idea, should still be able to clear, not just still targeted at one or having two new characters in a team. But we'll just go with this build. Let's go with this. Full normal attack damage, a little bit of full stamina. That way, we should now be able to beat it. With the extra damage that Renji can provide, that should be good. Although he won't be able to stack the boost as much as, you know, Aaroniero could. She'll be able to do that non-stop. Renji, not so much, but he's also going to be doing damage. So, that will help us out. At least, hopefully, that will help us out. Let's use our SA1. So, we can notice the extra damage from a character like, I'm about to say Shuei. Renji? I guess we'll use our SA3. Going into Lottie, we'll use our SA2. Then 1. I don't know if we got the weakening proc, but it's fine. We definitely do now. Okay. Maybe let's actually try that again. Like I said, you only ever want to use the summon in the first 5 waves if you're trying to go for a fast clear time. If you're trying to just clear fast, it's definitely best to save the summon. That way, you have the weakened defense on a boss that has, like, a lot of HP. So we cleared a tad bit slower here, but we've also saved the Soul Bomb, and we also now have Renji in our team that's potentially able to deal damage. So, let's hope this is what we need to clear. SA2, good damage from Esnot. I'm pretty sure the boss is downwards. No, he's upwards, okay. Hopefully we paralyze. We did. Let's use our 2. To be fair, this ain't even, like, that much faster. Damn. Am I actually not going to be able to clear? I'm sure I will eventually, but it shouldn't take this many attempts. That is crazy. That is absolutely crazy. So, funny enough, Renji and the team did not help us out. So, you know what? I'm going to end it there. I'm not even going to try and beat it. I mean, I'll beat it in my own time, I'm sure, but I guess want to use it as an example. Like, even I can't beat it. If a team like this can't casually beat it, that's a problem. That is a problem. And I will be honest, in ways I don't dislike not being able to clear a guild quest. I sometimes like having something to work towards. And if this was a new difficulty, I would have been accepting of that. It would have been, okay, cool. It's something I can work towards over time. But this is something that I used to be able to beat. And now I can't. So yeah, honestly, they need to do something. Caleb need to do something. This is absolutely ridiculous.